Fox News contributor Kaylee McGhee White, along with American Frontrunner Strategy CEO and attorney Mehek Cooke. Hello, ladies. How are you?
Doing great.
Good.
Great,
so
thanks for
one of
being
you
here.
is from Michigan, and one of you, I think, is from Ohio. So is this going to bleed over into the Midwest as well?
Well, I think
listen,
that
I'll
what
tell
happened.
you in terms of the
Go ahead, Kaylee.
Yeah, I think that it's fair to argue that what happens in New York likely is going to stay there in some respects. I don't think that the voters in New York City are necessarily the kinds of people that you're going to find back in my home state of Michigan, for example. But as you guys mentioned earlier, it already has begun to creep out a bit nationally in terms of some of these other blue cities. You have Omar Fateh in Minneapolis, you have Katie Wilson in Seattle, and then you have Zohran Mamdani in New York City, who are all running on very, very similar agendas. And as much as I respect Fetterman being the very lonely man in his party that he is, he's wrong about socialism being the future of the party. And that's also for one very simple reason, in that the younger Democrats, who just statistically represent the future of the party, are all embracing this very far left agenda. You only have so many Chuck Schumers and Nancy Pelosi's left, but you have a whole bunch of AOCs and Zohran Mamdani's waiting in the wings to take over as soon as they're out of the picture.
Mehek, we're finding out that from AP is reporting that turnout in the New York City mayoral election is 1.7 million people so far. That is at least the highest in 30 years. For the Rudy Giuliani defeat of David Dinkins in 1993, it was close to 1.9. Now, that was more than 50% of those registered voters back then. But 1.7 million people voting in this election is a hell of a turnout.
Dagan, it really is. And I think what we're seeing in America today is what happens when you have socialism and specifically a communist running. He's 34 years old. He used TikTok as a platform to talk to younger voters, and he is selling something that he can't back. He's talking about a socialist experiment where he's going to give free healthcare, free housing, free everything. And younger voters are buying it. And it's sad because these are the voters that don't know what communism is because they weren't educated properly through their universities. They were indoctrinated, or they did not live through the Cold War. So we're seeing a stunning level of turnout. But I hope, as most Republicans vote and turn out on election day, they're actually voting for common sense and not socialism, because we know, at least in the Midwest, in Ohio, where I'm from, we won't be indoctrinated. We won't allow this level of communism to infect us, because schools will close, doors will be boarded, small businesses will flee, families are going to be terrified. We've seen what's happened in socialism countries like Russia and so many others. So we have to be very careful. I don't think this infects the Midwest, but I do think there's a greater strategy here for Zohran, and the Democrat Party is going to have to own him. This is the new Democrat Party.
Yeah, Senate Minority Leader and New York City resident Chuck Schumer refused to endorse Zohran Mamdani ahead of the New York mayoral election. Pressed today on who he voted for, he dodged the question altogether.
Today is election day in New York City. Did you vote for Mamdani or Cuomo?
Look, I voted, and I look forward to working with the next mayor to help New York City.
Oh, boy.
Kaylee?
Yeah, and this is why, they're going to try and distance themselves from Zohran Mamdani because they know that he is going to be the face of the party if he wins heading into the midterm elections. But the problem with this is that once the cat's out of the bag, you can't put it back. And once a political party starts to move to the fringes, it never goes back to the center. And this is the real fear with the Democratic Party at this point, is that once you have a very prominent city go full-blown socialism, that is the blueprint moving forward. There is no way back to the center for the Democratic Party.
Mehek and Kaylee, it's great to see both of you. Thank you so much. We'll see you again very soon.
Thank you.
Maybe with a very different New York City.